When you are ready to develop your film, you'll have to make sure that you have all of the proper equipment for it. This includes the developing tank, a funnel, a lid, a stem, a reel, your film itself, a can opener potentially, and a pair of scissors. All of these items will go inside of the changing bag with the inner layer zipped up along with the outer layer. You can only take film out of the canister when you have it inside a light safe bag where it's pitch black inside. Film is extremely sensitive to light, so any light whatsoever, including the red safe lights in the darkroom, will affect it. So all of this has to be done in complete darkness within the changing bag. So once you have everything inside of your changing bag, you will be ready to take the film out. So if you happen to have a black canister like this, and these are one of the reusable ones, opening it up to get the film out is pretty simple. You just squeeze on one end, and then the lid pops open. Okay. You can also do it on the other side where you have the tab, and it will come off as well. But you really only need to do this on one end. I usually will do the flat end where there is no tab, just makes life a little bit easier. If you happen to have a commercially made film, so one of the Kodaks or Ilford films, you will need a can opener. With the can opener, this is what you'll be using to take the top off. With the commercially made films, a machine is putting it all together. So the top is on there really, really tightly, so you'll never be able to squeeze and pop it open with your fingers. Can opener is what you'll need. So once again, I'm going to use the flat part of the film canister, and using either the center part of the can opener or this part that sticks out, both work. You'll just plop it underneath where the cap is and pull up. And then with the commercially made ones, you might be able to pry it open a little bit, and then the rest you can just peel off. So once your canister is open, you'll be able to take your film out. So to do so, I'm just going to take my finger and push the tab that's sticking out. I'm just going to push that in, and you'll see that your film is going to come out the other side where you have the opening. So there's my film. Keep your film rolled up. If you start to unwind it, you're going to have loose film all over the place in your bag, and you really want to prevent touching the film itself, because otherwise you'll get fingerprints, grease marks, dirt, grime, stuff on it. So keep it all rolled up as best as you can. From there, you'll take the end of the film, so the end that has the leader, the little tab that's sticking out, and you take that, and this leader part you're going to cut off. And this is where the scissors come in. So what I'll typically do is I'll use my pointer and middle finger, hold the leader part, take my thumb and ring finger, hold it where there's more film, and then with the scissors I'm just going to find a place right in between where my thumb and my other fingers are, and I'm going to slowly cut so that it's a pretty straight line. So you really want to make sure that you are slowly cutting. Okay? If you slowly cut and you feel that the scissors are touching your fingers, that means you're going to cut your fingers. Okay? So that's why you slowly cut and make sure your fingers are not in the way. From here, you'll be able to take your reel. Okay, so this is what our reels look like. The reels themselves have these two sides that twist back and forth, back and forth. Your film is going to end up rolled inside of here, evenly spaced with a nice gap. The gap allows the chemicals to cover both sides of your film for proper development. So So what you'll have to do is you'll have to find on the reel the little triangles that are sticking out, almost like vampire teeth. Okay. Well, here's just a better view of what those look like. So just little triangles sticking out. If you see that they're not aligned, so right now one's here, one's up here, that's not going to help you. You want to make sure that they're lined up one right next to the other. So with the triangles facing you, you'll take the end of your film and you're going to slide it underneath the triangles. And then from here, you're going to pull the film about 2 inches beyond them. When you pull it past the triangles, the film is going to go over these little ball bearings. And those ball bearings are what helps guide your film and roll it throughout and move it. Those ball bearings feed into the sprocket holes on either side and help push them. So film underneath the triangles, pushed about 2 inches so it's past the ball bearings. And from here, I'm going to still have the film kind of facing me, hands on either side, and I'm putting my thumbs on top of the triangles. And then I'm just going to twist. And as I twist, the film starts to roll and move throughout the reel. When you're twisting, you want to make sure that you're doing it at an even pace. If you go too quickly, then your film might pop off. If your film gets stuck or pops out, you'll have to take the film off and start all over again. If you're dealing with the 36 roll of film, which is a little bit larger, as you get towards the end of the film, you'll feel that there's a lot more tension. So at that point, as you're twisting it, go a little bit slower, and that will allow the film to continue to roll onto the reel. When you get to the end, you'll see that your film is taped to a little stem like this. This is just tape. It's masking tape. You can just rip it off and then twist it so that nothing's sticking out. And right now, the film is evenly loaded throughout, and you can see as I kind of move it, you can see through it in gaps throughout. Once your film is properly loaded, you're going to take your reel and you're going to put it onto the stem. So the reel only goes on the stem from one end because of this flat part here. You're just going to put it all the way through so that the reel is touching the bottom here. And from here, this entire section is going to go inside the tank. When you're putting it in the tank, you want to make sure that the film is at the bottom of the tank. The bottom of the tank. If you have it in upside down like this and you're putting chemicals, the chemicals will only reach up to here. So if this is the bottom, it would only fill up to here, meaning that your film isn't getting any chemicals. So you want to make sure that you're putting it in with the film at the bottom of the tank so that it properly gets developed. Once your film and reel are inside, you'll put on the funnel, make sure to lock it properly, and then put the lid on top. Once the lid is on your canister, only then can you open up your bag. If you happen to have trouble loading film into the reel, you can have someone help you out. But in order to do that, your film has to be safe. So before you pull your arms out of the bag, you have to make sure that your film is inside of the tank with the lid on top. The film can be loose, it's totally fine, but it has to be inside the tank with the lid on top so that no light hits it. If light gets in the bag and hits your film will be damaged and you will have to reshoot.